You can hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Hi. Thank you so much for having me in the Alliance team. It's such an honor to be here. Today I'm going to be showing you what I call the Executive Reach Index, what it is, and how you can apply it in your own organization. Let's get into it. All right, so the Executive Reach Index is basically just content max. It's just showing you what you're leaving on the table. It's showing you how you can turn your C-suite team into brand ambassadors. So let's just get into the max immediately. Most organizations will always have a CEO. Most technical organizations, maybe mobile apps, SaaS and all that, they will most likely have a CTO. And most organizations would have a head of operations, or just basically someone that makes sure that everything is working fine and smoothly, right? So we're going to call him the CEO. Now, most times, they might not be called these titles. Maybe they might be called head of IT, or they might be called head of operations, head of ops, all right? But most organizations don't go and hire a CMO immediately. They eventually do, but the first couple of years, these are the core roles that they have to fill depending on the structure within the organization. So that's what we're going to be working with today. Most CEOs are the one who is entrusted with the vision of the organization by the board, or by themselves if it's their own company. Whatever the case may be, the CEO is the leader, and the CEO is the one who is going to basically shape how the organization is understood, perceived, interacted with, and all that. So let's say that in a week the CEO is so busy he only puts out only 4 pieces of content Monday to Thursday. All right. Let's say the CTO is also so busy, working on the bugs and making sure that the app is working fine, making sure that the SaaS product is working fine. Let's say he's so busy, but he manages to put out 5 pieces of content in a week. Okay, Monday to Friday. Same for the CEO. All right, so this brings us to the magic number of 14 pieces of content. Now, what is the Executive Reach Index? This is basically how much your executives can reach. That's basically what it is. How many people can your executives reach with their personal social media pages? With the specific focus on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the professional platform, and we're not going to be exploring other options within this training, okay? So let's say in a week, the C-suite team puts out 14 pieces of content. And let's say that in a month, that brings us to 14 times 4 weeks. Okay, just so that it's clear. This brings us to how many pieces of content? 56. That brings us to 56 pieces of content in a week that you did not pay for, that you did not pay an influencer for. No, that they just did themselves. This content could literally be, I walked into the office and this was a surprise. And it does not have to be technical. It does not have to be educational. It can actually just be everybody's having fun in this organization, which would also make people to say, I want to work here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now, we have 56 pieces of content put out in 4 weeks. But when you put out content, you know that there is a reach, right? People would see it. The minimum LinkedIn will show your content to, the minimum that I've seen is maybe 100 people would see. This is including people that like, repost, and all that. So let's say 100 people see this piece of content. That brings us to 56 pieces of content times 100 people, which would give us 5,600 eyeballs. It needs to be clear. So you get 5,600 people to see your organization, hear about your organization, interact with something that has to do with your organization without paying a dime. Not a single dime. These are automated content that would go out when you work with our team. We come in, understand who the person is, their persona. Do they have a cat? Do they have a dog? What they like to do on Wednesdays? What they like to do on Sundays? Basically, a blended approach towards the interaction with their social media. So it doesn't feel too technical or too businessy. There is still going to be that balance in there. And when you have 5,600 pieces of eyeballs on your content about your organization, that is free word of mouth. We all know where we were or who we spoke to that introduced us to Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And it was basically about, word of mouth. You just heard about it, your friend told you about it. And that's also the fastest way to grow, having this type of executive reach index, understanding it and having an engine behind it, which I'm going to go into with this training. But just for now, you have 5,600 people seeing your brand, and then they start to feel like, why is this everywhere? Why is this following me? No, you've just activated your in-house ambassadors, But this is just the reach, okay? This is just 4 weeks reach, okay? 5,600 eyeballs would see it in a month. So what does this tell us? This tells us that as an organization, most times people shy away from the responsibility of this because they feel like this is the responsibility of marketing. No, it's not. It's actually the responsibility of the CEO, and of course in partnership with the HR department, to ensure that people understand that as they join the organization, they're not just joining for their role alone, they're also joining to be an ambassador. Yes, it was literally in most of the contracts that I give my staff when they join. You understand that you're not just joining as, this is just one of the things I'll do on the side or whatever. Because you can always tell when someone is not fully committed to an organization that they work with. I'm not going to go into the details. But they have to understand the responsibility that if you're going to be my C-suite team, you are supposed to be an ambassador of the brand in the marketplace, in the industry that you represent, and of course, in the digital space as well. So if this is something you would want to set up, if this is a structure that you want to set up for your C-suite team, please click the link anywhere in this video, book a call with me. I will be delighted to walk you through it.